Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Today's topic is the next rule of Nun Sakin and Tanween, and this rule is the rule of Al-Idgham. Idgham, the meaning of Idgham is to merge. Meaning Idgham, when you look at it literally, the meaning is to go ahead and merge. So when Nun Sakin, as we said, Nun Sakin is the Nun that has its original sukun on it. So when Nun has a Sakina, and the letter that or when a tanween, when Nun Sakin or tanween is followed by any of the letters from the acronym Yarmalun. And when I say Yarmalun is one of the ways to remember the letters of Yarmalun, of the Idgham letters. And they are Ya, Ra, Mim, Lam, Waw, Nun. So if Nun Sakina or tanween is followed by any of these letters, the sound of Noon will merge into these letters, and you will make a gunna in the letters Yanmu, and you will not make a gunna for the letters Lam and Ra. So there are two types of idghams. One is idgham with gunna, and one is idgham without gunna. So let's look at how they are explaining it over here. The meeting of a non-vowel letter with a vowel letter, so that the two letters become one emphasized letter of the second type. Okay. So when they say the meeting of a non-vowel letter, they mean the non-vowel letter is the letter with a sukun. With the vowel letter, that is with the letter from Yarmalun. Any one of the letters from Yarmalun that has a vowel on, that has a haraka on it. So it is a meeting of a non-vowel letter with a vowel letter, so that the two letters become one emphasized letter of the second type. Okay, but this is little like confusing, but I will explain it and make it more easier. So when Nun Sakin or Tanween is followed by the letters of Yarmalun, you will merge the Nun into the letters of Yarmalun, and you will read it as the letter of Yarmalun. From the letters of Yarmalun, you will emphasize the letters of Yarmalun by doubling it. Okay. So this means if one of these 6 letters are the beginning of the word that immediately follows a word ended in a Nun Sukun or a Tanween, then the Nun merges into the next letter. Okay, let's look at the next page. It will become more clearer to you. There are two types of Idgham. As we said, Idgham with Gunna and Idgham without Gunna. Okay, let's look at Idgham with Gunna. Idgham with Gunna is Noon Sakin or Tanween followed by the letters Yanmu. This is one way you can remember it. Yanmu. Ya, Noon, Mim, Waw. Okay. Even in Yanmu, you have two groups. One is where there is complete Kamil Idgham, and then one where there is Naqis Idgham. When Noon Sakin and Tanween come at the end of the word, and one of these letters is the first letter of the next word, that is, if you have a Noon or a Mim following a Noon Sakin or a Tanween, then this Idgham is a Kamil Idgham. Okay, and there is Kamil Idgham, meaning there is a complete Gunna here. Okay, when Noon Sakin or Tanween is followed by Ya or Waw, this is a Naqis Gunna. All these 4 letters come under Idgham with Gunna. Okay, you have to keep in mind these are all Idghams that happen with Gunna, but Noon and Mim there is complete Gunna, and Ya and Waw there is Naqis Gunna. Okay, I'll explain it to you when we look at the examples. When Noon Sakin and Tanween comes at the end of a word and one of these letters is the first letter of the next word, the rule is applied. It is not pronounced clearly, instead it is merged into the next letter with Gunna. Idgham without Gunna are the letters Lam and Ra. Okay, when noon sakin or tanween is followed by the letter lam and ra, then the noon sound from the tanween or the noon sakin sound has completely merged into the lam and ra in such a way that you do not hear the sound of the noon. You don't hear the sound of the noon. You don't hear the sound of the ghunna. Okay, you don't hear the sound of the noon. You don't even hear the sound of the ghunna. So here the difference between this one and the noon and idgham with noon and meme is because both have camel mentioned here. Here you will hear the ghunna of the noon and meme. But over here, when noon merges into the lam and ra, you will not even hear the ghunna. That is, the whole sifa and the makhraj have completely merged. The sifa of the noon has completely merged into the letters lam and ra. Okay, so let's look at some of the examples. As I said, um, complete. Let's look at complete kamil idgham. It means nothing left of the noon sakina. It has completely merged. That is, the noon has completely merged into the following letters of the yarmalun, right? Into one of the yarmalun letters. Shadda is present on the letter that is being merged into in case of noon, meme, lam, and ra. So noon, meme, lam, and ra are the four letters where there's completely merging. The only difference is in noon and meme, there is the sound of gunna. The sifa has not merged completely. There is the sound of gunna because noon is merging into noon and meme is and noon is merging into meme. So the sound of noon and meme will be still there. You can still hear it because the following letter is a noon and meme. So when you look at this, for who look at the word here. فهو في عيشة راضية. Here عيشة راضية. It should have been عيشة, right? The noon has merged into the ra. Okay? And there is no sound of the noon. You cannot hear the gunna. You cannot hear the sound of noon. Okay? The makhraj of the noon has merged into ra. So you have a complete merging. No sound of gunna. No sound of the noon. You can only hear the sound of the ra. Ishati radiyah. Now look at the next example here. Alam nakhluqkum min ma'in mahin. Okay? Min and ma'in. Noon sakin followed by meme here. The noon has merged into the meme completely. And now you only hear the sound of the gunna of the letter meme. Okay? Min ma'in. Okay? Min ma'in. So the noon has merged into the meme and you can hear the gunna of the noon in the meme. فذوقوا فلن نزيدكم إلا عذابا. Okay, so now the noon has merged into the noon, the following noon, and you can hear the sound of the gunna. Okay, so this is again camel merging, but you can hear the gunna. Let's look at the next one here. تبت يدا أبي لهب. The tanween is followed by the letter waw. The noon has merged into the letter waw, and you can hear the gunna. So the remnant sound of the noon is heard in the gunna. So the noon has merged into the waw, but you can still hear the sound the sound of the noon through the gunna. Okay, so the sifa of the sound is still being heard. So this is not complete merging. There's still incomplete merging because you can still hear the sound of the gunna of the noon. قلوب يومئذ واجفة. قلوب, tanween is followed by the letter ya. The noon has merged into the ya, but you can still hear the sound of the gunna of the noon. So again, this merging is not complete. Okay. but because you can still hear the sound of the gunna. قلوب يومئذ واجفة. The next one is يومئذ يومئذ يصدر الناس أشتاتا. يومئذ. Tanween followed by the letter ya. Ya is from yarmalun. The noon has merged into the ya, but you can still hear the sound of the gunna of the noon, right? So again, this is comes under idgham naqis. Okay. فَمَن يَعْمَلْ. Again, the same example for noon has merged, noon sakin here in this case. So we're merging into the ya, and now you can hear the sound of the noon through the gunna. Again, this is again idgham naqis. Okay. خَيْرًا يَرَحْ. Again, you can hear the sound of the gunna of the noon in khayran. It's merged into the ya, and you can hear the gunna. Again, this is not complete. Okay, it is naqis gunna. It is naqis, idgham naqis. Okay. There are exceptions to the rule of idgham naqis. If noon sakina is followed by one of the letters of idgham in one word, there is no idgham. This is called idgham mutlaq. It is called idhar mutlaq. Then instead we say the noon clearly, and in this case it is called idhar mutlaq. And there are 4 words in the Quran where you have an idhar mutlaq. An idgham without gunna in our recitation is of Hafs and Asim in Surah Al-Qiyamah. In verse, you have these words in this وَقِيلَ مَنْ رَاقٍ. You would have merged the noon into the ra if you were doing idgham, because you see noon sakin is followed by ra. Noon sakin is followed by ra. Excuse me, sisters. Noon sakin is followed by the letter ra. So when noon sakin is followed by the letter ra, you would have made an idgham here. But because you're doing a sakt over here, because you're pausing, the rule of idgham will not apply. Because you're pausing here, because you see a scene there, right? In Surah Al-Qiyamah. وَقِيلَ مَنْ رَاقٍ. So you would not do وَقِيلَ مَنْ رَاقٍ. That would be a mistake. Okay. Okay. The sakt will prevent the idgham from happening. Okay, idgham, the idhar mutlaq, there are four letters I did not mention there. These are the 4 letters that they have written here that will not have idgham, though noon sakin is followed by the letters from yarmalun, right? Like in the word sinwanun, qinwanun, bunyanun, and ad-dunya. So you will not have idgham happening here. The noon is read clearly. That's why it's called idhar mutlaq. So inshallah we can stop the recording. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.